Now here's a video style that I haven't done in a while. Every once in a while, I do a video where I say something along the lines of, where have I heard that before? Or who was it that's saying that? Oh right, me. Well, here's another example of that. Because I know some people are, when I say my opinion on this type of thing, they're like, oh, you're crazy or whatever, or you're wrong. Well, not crazy. There's other people out there, much like me, that feel very similar. So, the Epic Mickey, producer, calls virtual reality a fad. Now, again, where have we heard that? Who else has been saying that VR is just going to be the next fad? Oh, right. Me. Like I've been saying, casuals always flock to something, leave it, go to the next thing, leave it, go to the next thing. Right now it's smartphones and iPads. The next fad to come along will be virtual reality. Now, granted, these are just our opinions, but I ain't the only one feeling this way. So anyway, Warren Spector, the man behind the Epic Mickey franchise, which you can say either way how you feel about that, it's irrelevant, isn't entirely convinced by virtual reality headsets such as Morpheus and Oculus Rift. Spector joins Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé in criticizing the current technology and believes that it is simply nothing more than a fad. Which is exactly what I fucking said. Spectre claims that people generally look silly wearing the headgear, and there's also the fact of nausea to contend with. However, he thinks there is potential in augmented reality like Microsoft's upcoming HoloLens, which I fully actually agree. I think that the HoloLens has potential. But let's continue on. He says, I've been pretty consistent in my belief that VR is a fad. I think it'll generate some interest among the hardcore gamers, and I see amazing possibilities in VR for social media and virtual meetings and training and crazy stuff like dealing with phobias. But for entertainment, I'm just not seeing it, which I agree, I'm not either. I don't think most humans want to look stupid. Everyone looks stupid in a VR headset. And they don't want to isolate themselves from the world. I mean, if someone, ask the people sneaking, or, living out in the mountains. But anyway, and they don't want to, or I read that already. Ha ha. I mean, if someone's sneaking up behind me with a baseball bat, I'd want to know about it, you know what I mean? And let's not talk about nausea. It's weird, I worked on a couple of games that supported available VR headsets back in the 90s, and I was really jazzed about it. Now I'm kind of over it. AR, on the other hand, augmented reality, which the 3DS did when it launched, if you remember, with the AR cards. That seems pretty exciting. There's some potential there. Even the low-hanging fruit of AR gaming seems compelling. Bring on the AR. So, it's not about VR, it's about AR. And again, I agree. And if we talk about how he brought up the HoloLens, I give Microsoft props. I see potential with that, but it's not in gaming. Much like the Kinect, where you're like, get the fuck out of here with this shit, I feel like the HoloLens is going to be, it can play games, it can do things with gaming, but it's not going to just skyrocket to the moon with games. Main reason is, it's not going to be, that's not going to be its main focus, being games, and it's not going to be fucking cheap. So, but if you really think about it, there are a lot of possibilities in, not Oculus, but HoloLens could be very successful. Not with gaming, but with other areas. Now, let me just give you a few examples. If you're an artist, people, they are going to fucking, if they can afford this, do very well with it. If they're a sculptor and they want to, improve their ways of sculpting or plan out a sculpture before they actually start, with this, they can have a fucking hologram of what they want to sculpt right beside them, life-size, or, to scale of exactly what they're sculpting. And it'll be like a guide, it'll help them out. That's going to be amazingly helpful. Or if you're a designer, designing, whether it's, I don't know, cars or motorcycles, like their little display. You can have a holographic motorcycle, you can shape it and do whatever you want right then and there with the hologram. And, show people in your board meetings who are wearing this too, exactly what your plans are for changing. Take architects, for one thing, building buildings, designing them. If you're in a meeting and showing off your blueprints, you can have a hologram in your office right there showing off the building that you're designing. Be like, oh, it's a wacky design, or it's got, some weird, I don't know, tilted wall design or some weird thing. I don't know. And with everyone in the meeting room there, you can, see this holographic representation of what you want to build before you actually build it. Instead of just saying like, oh, this is like, a 3D printer printed it out. That's a final thing. You can't just change it at will. With a hologram, you could be like, I don't think we should have 31 stories high. Let's make it 30 stories. Boop, and then you just hit a button or, wave your hand and it shrinks the whole thing. Those are the areas that VR, I really think, could benefit for artists, for all these areas other than gaming. For gaming, it just, I don't know, standing there, running in place, or spinning around like, 360-degree view. That's no different than real life, just without the goofy headset, just look around. Go outside on your front lawn, look around. That's kind of what you're saying you want in a video game. I don't see the entertainment in that, sorry. I mean, maybe some people, everyone has different tastes, so I'm sure someone somewhere will get enjoyment out of it, because, people get enjoyment out of COD for some reason. So who am I to judge? But still, for me personally, I don't see it as a benefit to the gaming industry. I don't see it actually adding anything other than it being a fad. It'll be like smartphones and iPads, oh, it's the big thing now, and then 3 or 4 years later or whatever, everyone will be like, oh, VR, whatever happened to that? But, yeah, that's all I got to say in this video, so of course, come back for more. As always, we will see you then.